Welcome to the Airgun Show. This week I'm going to give you an insight into some of the kit that I use to film scope cam footage while we're out filming the hunt. But first up, we join Andy Watkins out on his crop protection rounds targeting pigeons and corvids.
Well, the farmer's given me a call and there's been quite a lot of pigeons and rooks sitting up in this tree here and then dropping down onto the barley and doing some damage to the crop. So I said to him I'd come down, so I've bought the air rifle and a hide, and all I'm going to do is just set up the hide, sit underneath it and wait for whatever comes in. And yeah, it's probably mainly going to be corvids and pigeons. I came here yesterday for something else and I did a bit of filming just of this tree here for all the birds that were sitting in there, so I'll drop that in now. So it could be quite a good afternoon. It's a weird sort of weather. We've got overcast now, but the clouds do break and the sun comes out occasionally, so yeah, it's a funny one. There's a little bit of a breeze as well. That might keep the pigeons moving. It'll just mean that I'll have to possibly think a little bit more about my shots. So with it being hide shooting and being quite confined, I'm going to be using the Walther Reign today. This is a really short gun. I've used it quite a bit out of a hide, so I'm pretty confident with it. I think the closest tram line I can get to the tree is about 40 yards, well 37 yards to be precise. So still within the capabilities of this gun, well within. I don't want to stretch the range out too much just because there is a little bit of a breeze, as you might be able to hear on the microphone. But yeah, I'm just going to load this up and then just grab the gear and head on down. There's actually a feral pigeon sat on the roof up here, so I might have a go at that first. .31 yards, I'm going to go for a headshot. Yeah. Good. One bird on the ground already. Okay, so here is that pigeon then. Went in the one side and out the other. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to get on. I want to sit under that tree, shoot some pigeons. There's a clearing here in one of the tram lines. This old tree doesn't look too far away. Yeah, 35 yards. So I think I'm just going to pop up the pop-up hide here and just see how we go. Oh, this is another thing. It's a camera monopod, and I've duct taped a sock to the top of it, and this will just help me get a little bit more stable in the hide if I just rest the gun on there and have the monopod on the floor. Magpie's just come in right at the top of the tree. So magpie just come in. I was actually watching a pigeon and then I saw this magpie, and I'd much rather shoot a magpie than a pigeon just because of the amount of damage they do to the songbirds. And lined up on him, gave him 3/4 mil at holdover, and went for a heart and lung. And I watched him, and he just dropped in the barley. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes after that magpie, and a pigeon's coming on the left of this tree. Gonna go for a heart and lung shot. Nice. Went for a heart and lung shot, and that pigeon just almost froze and just dropped where it was standing, so really nice, humane shot. All of these birds, I want to kill them as quickly as possible. I don't want anything wounded, really. It might happen, it does happen from time to time, but I'm going to do my very best just to kill them outright. Another good one. So what I'm stopping them from doing is landing in the tree and then dropping down onto the barley, because also when they land on the barley, their wings bash down the standing crop. So it's not only the seed that they eat, it's also the seed they knock down when they land. Yeah, that rook just let out one squawk as the pellet struck, and then just dropped straight down into the undergrowth below. This is turning into a really good day. Haven't been here long either, probably 15-20 minutes so far. Already got a few birds on the ground. Okay, a crow is coming in now. It's coming in, it's coming in, it's coming in. That one was interesting. A young crow. I saw him coming in from ages away, and I knew he was going to land. Just the way he sort of pinned his wings back and just was gliding in, and he just very gently just glided up, landed on the very top branch of the tree, one of the closer branches. That one's about 35 yards. So I went for another heart and lung shot and dropped in where he stood, and he sort of flapped down and then got himself stuck in the branches of this oak, and he's just hanging there in the leaves now. He's definitely dead. I've been watching him through the scope. Yeah, so there's not going to be any retrieving him. I ain't getting up no ladder for a crow. Okay, so that rook, I shot it. I know it was a solid shot. I could see it just from the way the bird reacted. It was a lung shot, and I watched him as he flew off, and he didn't look right. And often this is the case when you hit them in the lungs, because they've still got enough oxygen to get them a certain distance. So I watched that bird, and then you'll have seen it just folded and dropped into the barley, probably about 150 yards away. So it's always worth watching the shots that you take and just seeing where they go if you think that you've fluffed the shot. But that shot was solid. I put the pellet where I wanted to, and it did the job. Unfortunately, it didn't drop at the tree, so again, there's not going to be any chance of retrieving that one. But there'll be one for the fox. yeah, headshot. That'll do us for today. I think I finished on 18 pigeons. Yeah, I'm going to go and see if I can pick as many as I can. But it's real thick vegetation in there, nettles and all sorts. So there was even a wasp nest in the ground there last year. Don't know if that's still there. Well, I found one pigeon so far. Looks like this was a heart and lung shot, which most of them were. This is like the worst situation possible. Normally I just get the dog and I put the dog in and he'd probably fetch 90% of them out, if not 100%. But the barley, you can't really run a dog on barley because it goes in their paws and in their fur, and the little bits stick in, they snap off and stick in and then work their way into the skin, so really nasty stuff. Similar sort of thing as what it's done to my sock actually. Well, I managed to pull a rook out as well. So yeah, it's so thick in there, like it's just all nettles and sticky buds.
I think we'll leave Andy there as he tries to pick a few more birds out of the nettles. Next up, I'm going to take a look at some of my scope cam recording gear. More and more airgun shooters seem to want to record and share scope cam action from their shoots. I get inundated with questions about the gear that I use to film through my scopes, so I thought I'd use this slot to show you 3 of the devices that I've been using. They vary quite considerably, but I've had good results with them all. First up is my oldest setup, and that's made from a Sony Handycam, which I'm sure you should be able to pick up very cheaply online. Now, I did actually make a video a couple of years ago to show you exactly how I made it, but the key thing is the step down ring that I've glued around the main front lens. Now, within that is the thread that I then use to screw on the scope attachment sleeve. The connection to the scope is actually via the rubber sleeve from an old flip-up lens cover. Now, what I've done is glue a corresponding step-up ring to that, so I can then screw the sleeve onto the front of the camera and then use that to slide it onto the scope and hold it securely in place. Now, if you glue the same ring as that to several different sized rubber sleeves, you can then use those as an attachment to fit scopes with different sized eyebells. I actually really like this setup, and the great thing about the rubber sleeve is that it gives you just enough play to ensure perfect alignment through the scope. Now, the only real snag with this setup is that you have to look through the screen rather than through the scope when you're shooting, and that can be a bit of a nuisance. Nonetheless, I've still been pretty pleased with the results that I've had from it. About a year or so ago, I got fed up with having to look through the screen while shooting and decided to look around for something different. And what I decided to move on to was the side shot phone mount. Now, this is a really smart device, and the clamp actually connects your phone to the scope so that you can film your scope cam footage with the phone. Now, it's got a really clever periscope type system, which means although this is filming, you can still look straight through the scope and hold the gun the same as normal. You can get attachments to fix this to 25, 30 and even 34mm scope tubes. It's a brilliant piece of kit, attaches really securely to the scope, and once you've got it perfectly aligned, works fantastically. Being able to hold the gun normally and look straight through the scope makes a really big difference when it comes to shooting accurately, and I've been really pleased with the footage that I've managed to capture through this one. Now, more recently, a lot of my friends have moved over from phone attachments across to GoPros for their scope cam filming. Now, they've been getting some great results, so I've also decided to take the plunge, and I'll probably be using this one in some of my hunting videos fairly soon. Now the unit that I've gone for is from Eagle Vision. It's got a really clever universal clamp that basically attaches to the eye bell of a variety of different size scopes. The Eagle Vision system is another setup that enables you to look straight through the scope in the normal way while you're filming. Now, one point worth bearing in mind though is the fact that the standard GoPro lens doesn't really work for scope cam. Now, this kit actually came supplied with a 12mm lens, which works brilliantly. Swapping them over is a bit of a faff, but there are loads of video tutorials out there showing you exactly how to do it. And to be perfectly honest, if I can do it, anybody can. I haven't had a chance to use the Eagle Vision GoPro setup on live quarry yet, but I'm expecting good things. It's compact, unobtrusive and easy to use. I've given it a quick try out on the garden range and the footage that I've managed to capture with it so far looks really encouraging. So, that's my scope cam filming setups. Now they're all pretty different, but they all work, and ultimately it boils down to what you want and what you can afford. I made my homemade handycam setup very cheaply and very quickly, but I'm sure a lot of you have made even better setups. So do feel free to share your hints and tips in the comments.
Look out for the new and improved Airgun Shooter magazine, packed full of technique, gear and insight from some of the best shooters in the industry. Brand new look and free video content. Pick up your copy today in stores or online.
That's all for this week, but as ever we'll be back again in a fortnight. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And if you aren't already a member of the BASC, have a look at their website and check out the benefits that you could be taking advantage of through Airgun membership.